Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 46 of Pop Kannon. My name is Jordan.
I am Robert.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Joe.
Thank you for joining us on your preferred viewing or listening device. Today, we are going to dig into the film from earlier this year. Yeah, it's weird that a movie came out in 2020. The Invisible Man. So, initial thoughts. What'd you guys think?
Well, this was the first and last movie or film of 2020 that I saw in the theaters. So,
oh, really?
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't go to the movies often, but I went and I saw this movie. So, I mean, I guess it set the tone for 2020.
Oh, no.
We're being gaslighted by what's not there.
Invisible.
Jeez.
2020 to a T. So what did you feel when the credits rolled in the theater?
I really liked it. I mean, like, I was happy. I was happy that I got out of my house and saw it before I couldn't leave my house anymore. I didn't know much. Like, I know that The Invisible Man exists. Like, there's another movie and stuff, and I didn't know any of that. I was like, it was going into it pretty cold.
Shit, okay.
But I left very satisfied.
Yeah, I never saw like the classic Universal Invisible Man. I remember like the Kevin Bacon Hollow Man, where he's like real creepy, but I don't remember any details. But I felt really satisfied by this movie. Like, I never really questioned Elizabeth Moss's character's like sanity, which like I think they were like trying to like do a little bit at the very end, but I didn't really like question her actions. I felt very like this is a very clean ending and I'm happy with it. And also like technically the movie is just really fun. Like it's just a green screen suit, but like just the way they designed everything and worked around it. I thought it was a pretty simple but also complicated movie, which is just talking out of my ass, I guess. But
No, it is, because the concept is very simple. I think the cast had like 4 people.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a small cast.
You know, it was like real small. But they were able to do it on a small budget and use the budget for getting rid of the green guy that was in most of the scenes. But I had the same thought as you, Joe. I texted Jordan because Jordan had watched it before I did. So I was basically saying things to him as it was happening, as I was watching it. And then at the end of it, I was like, I cannot believe that it was such a definitive ending to the film. Like, I did not expect them to be like, and the book is shut and the story's over. Like, I did not expect that. I thought for sure they were going to leave it very open-ended or something like that. But they decidedly did not do it that way.
Yeah, I was also happy that it had a very definitive ending, which I didn't see coming, because I had never seen the original Invisible Man.
I think it was like, I don't know what the year was, but
It was
I
like
wanna say
33 or something
34
like
or
that.
something like that.
Yeah.
But apparently it was based on an H.G. Wells novella.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I also didn't know. I looked all of this up retroactively. So the initial trailers came out for this movie, and I was like, oh, I feel like they're just giving everything away. So I put off watching it. Didn't watch it until I was able to recently on HBO.
Yep.
And blew me away. Completely taken back by a lot of what they did and what they accomplished. And doing so little to do that was so cool. There's issues that I have with the plot, but overall, it, like you guys said, it's a fun movie.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's interesting that you said, like, with the trailer, because when I saw the trailer, like, playing on TV and, like, commercials and stuff, and actually, I think I saw the first trailer on Instagram as, like, an ad, I like saw it and I was immediately like, "Ooh, I want to go watch this."
I think you
But,
sent
like,
that to me.
I think so.
I think we were at work and you just sent it to me across the room.
Probably, because it was just one of those things where, like, I love Elizabeth Moss, and it just, like, looked like a solid film just from, like, the little, 30, 60 seconds. I just, like, it was very effective from trailer to finish.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw the trailer, I definitely wanted to see it. I just didn't know how it was going to fit into getting to the theater, and I was okay not seeing it there. But yeah, Elizabeth Moss was fucking unbelievable in this, and I don't think I've seen anything with her in it, including like Get Him to the Greek, that she's been bad in. You know,
Yeah.
like she's always like really effective and really convincing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's such a believability to her, and in this, I mean, she looked horrible at one point. You know what I mean? Like it just lent so much to what she was going through. It was great.
Yeah.
Well, I think like between like Handmaid's Tale and Mad Men, like Elizabeth Moss has just like really like honed the woman going through it character.
Yeah.
Like,
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think this movie would have been half as good without her in it. Like
No.
she really brought it home.
It could have definitely fallen into like campy,
Oh yeah.
laughing at her kind of, but she's so convincing and so distraught and just like so fucking bothered by everything that's happening that you feel like you're with her.
Yeah.
You know, and you want to see her overcome it because they make her like an underdog almost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's just super, super effective storytelling.
Yeah. And she really sells that like the sci-fi element of it is really just like the cherry on top. Like the real monster is the guy in the suit. Like he's
Right.
the thing to be scared of, not just the fact that you can't see him. That's just like a little bit extra on top of this like gaslighting crazy rich fucker.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why you can get so behind Elizabeth Moss and like her entire character is because at the core of this film it's about like abuse or like just trauma and guilt and gaslighting and just stupid shit like that, and we've all gone through shit like that. So it's such an easy and vulnerable heartstring to tug at.
Yeah.
And I think they did it really well. And Elizabeth Moss, like you guys said, fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Just the dread that she was able to portray.
Yeah. And there's just like, there's so much stress in that movie because like when you think about the opening, I mean like, talk about like cold openings in terms of like getting to the heart of it. Like there's no build up. You're not seeing, it doesn't start with flashbacks. It's like literally it opens up with her trying this escape that she had been planning for who knows how long. Like you can see her fear. It's like kicking the dog bowl, you know, and the dog starts, you know, like there's the dog. Is he gonna bark? Hit the car. And like just that panic and then running through the woods and like that scene where he like meets up with the car and just like knocks out the, it's like whole, like what a way, like what, the first 10 minutes of the film?
Yeah.
Like you already know what type of person he is. And you know what type of person she is.
There's so many things in that opening 10 minutes also that are like classic horror movie setups and then no payoffs.
Yeah.
We keep cutting to him thinking that we're going to get like the eye opening or something like that, and none of it happens.
Yeah.
And all of the things that happen that could wake him up but don't. And like that just immediately twists the tension so tight right from the outset that you're like, oh fuck, this is going to be uncomfortable the entire ride. Which I was like 100% down for and loved.
Yeah, I'd say the first like 2 acts of the film were like super, super tense.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I loved that about this movie. The way that they were able to amp up tension without things actually happening. It's just
Right.
setting your expectations up, and you're just waiting for like the other shoe to drop, and it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Or it does, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
Right. and like I attribute a lot of that to like Elizabeth Moss's acting, just
Yes.
because it relies so heavily on like emotion, not necessarily action. Like there really is no action until, you know, you get like to later scenes.
Right.
Probably really starting I guess with the sister a little bit, and then like when she get to the hospital, and then you know, after. But realistically, any of this stuff, you take away the invisibility suit,
Right. And that's
it's
100% real.
It could be real. It could be anybody's like reality.
And we don't even know necessarily what she's been through, but like you can safely assume that that is definitely one of the things, if not the only thing that she's going through. Which is like another interesting thing, is that we don't know how shitty their relationship was. We just know it was so bad that she drugged him and tried to escape in the middle of the night.
And then like seeing his revenge, like what he does, like you can only imagine what he was like living with.
Yeah. But
Like
by the end of it, you're like,
manipulation.
yeah, I would have definitely tried to leave too, I feel.
Yeah.
She's not crazy. She's definitely fucking on point.
Right. As like the audience, we're privy to like more information than like her friends, her family, like the strangers. So it's like, and we're going into this, it's like, well, it's called The Invisible Man, so there's probably going to be an invisible man. But like, you know, if your friend was like, yo, my ex, he's pretending to be dead, he has this invisibility suit or invisibility cloak, and he sent you that email, I totally didn't send you that email.
Right.
Like, you know, would you believe them?
Right.
Unless if maybe you're living in like the Marvel universe where like shit like that happens all the time. But like,
But I guess if you look at it from her perspective, she was clearly in an abusive relationship.
Right.
Why would these people be like, oh, he's dead and he's leaving you all of this money? Really? That's really what he's doing?
Going back to like Robert said, there's really not a big cast. You really don't get a lot of insight into any of the other characters, including her sister. But it's like, from what I got, she's like a lawyer or something. So she seems like a very real world person. It's like, okay, well, you have a problem. Your problem is your ex. Oh, look, your ex is dead. Here's an obituary. Here are his
Problem
ashes.
solved.
Here's his will. Problem solved. You don't have to worry about it. And, you know, from like a female perspective, you know, I think that the invisible man is something that a lot of women who are victims of domestic violence or any type of abuse, it's like, if, you know, because they say that the most dangerous time for a woman living with an abuser is when they try to leave. That's when there's more instances of, you know, like homicide and stuff like that. Like, that's the most dangerous time. So if anybody escapes that type of relationship, they're going to constantly be looking over their shoulder. And, you know, you hear a creak on the staircase. Oh my God, is that my abuser? So it's like, I get like both perspectives. I agree with Robert. I never thought that she was like crazy, and I didn't really get the film trying to portray that too much. I think it was just kind of more of a, you know, more like reality, like atypical situation. You know what I mean? Like, I think we all know that at the end, he was never in that closet crawl space.
Right.
Dingy
Yeah, that was
place.
clearly a fucking excuse to try to pull all this shit off.
Right, because he's a master of manipulation and control. Like, he's a control freak. Like, like she said, he controlled what she ate, what she wore, what she looked like. He's going to control this situation. I mean, he's this smart, intelligent man with a bunch of power. What else is he going to do? He's going to work with his brother to figure out the ultimate level
and then
of control.
she asked him at one point whether or not he was actually in the room for it. We don't know, but she was just like, you could have any fucking woman on earth. Why is it me that you have to do this to?
Yeah, was it the brother who said something like, because you left? Or like, because she was the only woman he couldn't control, like didn't have control over?
Something like, yeah, because he had said that to her. I think that was when they met like the second time.
Yeah.
Something to that effect, because then we find out that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Which, to me, I immediately was like, oh my god, did that happen while he was invisible? But I guess we're to assume that it was
like
from
the week right
prior to that.
Yeah.
But immediately in my head, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? I'm glad we didn't get that scene, because that would have been fucking really awkward. But
that would have been really strange.
That would have been Kevin Bacon all over again. Well, we don't even know like what the relationship with her sister was, because if she's in that kind of relationship with him, that he's domineering and abusive, she probably hasn't been in contact with her sister until the point where she was leaving. Which, like,
that's a good point.
Me as an outsider, it was like frustrating to see all these people, like, you're dealing with a traumatized person, and like of course she's paranoid, like Sarah said, but she needs help, she needs care, she needs to get through it. But also she really is being threatened by an invisible man. But yeah, and even like one of the most effective scenes to portray how she's a survivor of domestic violence was the mailbox scene. Right at the beginning, like scared to go out the door or open the door and stand in the doorway even. Because before he's invisible, the threat of him existing is always there.
Right.
So then when she finds out he dies, she's like, oh shit. Kind of like a weight lifted. And then things start happening and she immediately knows he's not fucking dead. He's here fucking with me. Like, she knew it instantly. And then they had that quote from something that he said to her forever ago, that I'll always be with you no matter what, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like rang. It was probably sweet when he said it, maybe, but it rang super creepy in the fact that he died or faked his death and then was stalking her invisibly.
Which is like such a fucked up idea.
But you know that there are people that would absolutely utilize that.
Well, and it's like
if they had the opportunity to.
At the scene when she's like staying with her friend, like around the mailbox time, and like when her sister, you know, comes and she freaks out, she like sees the thing about webcams and then takes nail polish and like covers up her thing because it's that whole like surveillance and somebody watching and you not knowing, and like it's just like full life paranoia.
Yeah. She's scared that he's going to hack her computer webcam. Yeah. And she wants to make sure that that's not possible.
Which she doesn't.
She's not scared of like some like unspoken government entity looking at her webcam. She's not worried about some Russian or something like that hacking her computer. She's specifically worried about her ex-boyfriend that she escaped from that killed himself.
Yes.
Like, it's very specific.
I really appreciate that it was a suit too, honestly, because I was sitting there thinking like he's like, is he fucking naked the whole time? And like, or like those stupid like idiot like sci-fi breaking down of like, oh, how does he see if like his retinas can't reflect the light? But like then you see the like honeycomb when she throws the paint, and I'm like, all right,
dude.
Yeah, it's like a suit of like cameras.
Yeah, it's like all these like camera projector things.
Yeah. And that's so that's one of the things that makes this movie so fucking cool that I really want to go back and watch it again, because the sound mix,
the clicking
had to be so perfect that I feel like there are definitely scenes where we're assuming he's there or we're led to believe he's there, and if you're listening, you can probably hear the from the fucking cameras.
I watch movies with subtitles and
you hear electric whirring or something. Yeah,
like you you see like clicking, and you're like, what is clicking? And you turn it up.
Man, so that's like awesome. Adds a whole other level to how often is he actually in the room. Is she
that first time,
because she assumes it all the time,
right?
And the camera plays as if he's there all the time, but it's 100% possible that it's only some of the time,
right?
Yeah,
or you don't know how early, you know, or
like if he was there for like a minute and then left.
Yeah. Like, well, that first scene when she's in her room and the camera pans and like you're expecting like the shirts to blow or whatever, but like there is like the subtitle says like clicking, and it doesn't make sense until you find out what the suit is. But
You're like clicking.
Shit.
This lady's
awesome.
got stink bugs in her house.
That's such like a minute detail that they didn't need to do, but they did
did need
anyway.
to.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine in a theater that was much more prevalent.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Did
like
you
in-
pick
I
up
don't
on that,
remember.
Sarah?
No, but like I'm not surprised.
But then again, you
So-
might not have been like
but-
thinking to like
No.
listen.
Right.
No, exactly. And like I'm one of those people where it's like I don't often like, you know, the soundtrack a lot of the times that's like secondary to me, or I pick up on that having watched it multiple times.
Yeah.
And even with my most recent rewatch, I rewatched it over the weekend. Like I wasn't necessarily paying attention to the sound because I'm like, well, I've seen it before. I'm more so paying attention to like plot. And I'm
Right.
like, well, I'm doing this while also maybe doing something else, or like leaving the room, or also my TV's old, so it's like I don't maybe not pick up on those things.
Right.
But now, like, I really want to go back and rewatch it with the subtitles.
There's the one scene that I mean it wasn't super hokey, but like when you see things just floating,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird, you know, like when the cell phones just
That's
It-
weird,
it-
but the
yeah.
moment when they're at the dinner table and the knife goes in
Oh
the
my
air,
God, yeah.
like that was like a heart drop moment.
yeah
Yeah.
Because you want her to win.
That's why it's like, do you like seeing the cell phone floating by itself? No, but you need that because
Right.
it's the setup of the expectation for when the knife goes in the air. You go, he's there.
And I think they did it like sparingly enough that like because
Yes.
they know it's cheesy, but like it's necessary because it's the Invisible Man,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's the gaslighting technique of like the Bill Murray story when he's like, no one will ever believe you, and then he drops the cell phone.
And so I think it was the scene with the sheet where he pulls the sheet off. When
Yeah.
she looks up at one point. It like definitely looks like there's a person.
Yes.
It turns out to be like a cap and a jacket,
Oh,
'Cause she's going to
like
fashion
the dress
school.
form or whatever it is. Yeah.
and that's the look of that is an homage to the original look of the Invisible Man, like the Universal
Right.
monster Invisible
That
Man.
and the
'Cause he
guy
had,
in the
face
hospital.
wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But in that moment where you see him, I'm like, that's clearly a fucking person, and they never go back to it. And I was like,
Are we just leaving that?
he wasn't invisible. He's right there. He fucking
It's the Invisible Man.
on.
I thought the same thing.
I
I
freaked
watched
the
it.
fuck out
Yeah.
when that happened.
Ugh.
Totally freaked out.
Yeah. Just speaking of his look, like I really dug the fact that it was a suit, and I liked how it was all like reflective, and the sound mix, of course, phenomenal. But even just when she first takes the pen to
I
her
had to look
wrist,
away.
and she's like, gotcha, and stabs him, the way it flickered and
Yeah.
like almost looked like the suit was in distress with him. I
Yeah.
thought that was a really interesting direction to go.
Yeah.
It was because it was like, so then from then on it keeps flickering. Throughout that, but that was his brother that was fucking with her at the asylum, and then in
Yeah.
that parking lot.
See,
Yeah.
I took it as he was fucking with her at the hospital while his brother was heading towards right, and then from the hospital he went to his mansion house.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. That's
There
how
were
I
two
took it
suits,
too.
and that's like I had to.
With
we
three.
had to
Well,
pause.
there were 3 suits because she hid the one.
Yeah.
Because when she's
Prototype one or
escaping, there are
whatever.
3.
Because I had to explain that to Amanda, because she's like, wait a second. How did he get there if she has it? And I was like, there's another suit.
I thought there were
there's
only the
one
two, but
on the thing,
right.
Yeah.
and then there's one that we know of out there.
And
Right.
there's
We
the
don't
one
know-
because there's the one that she hid.
Right, so there's
Okay.
the one on the thing that she took,
Mm-hmm.
that she hid, and then we know that there's clearly one out there because she was just dealing with it.
Right. But I think, like, from what I remember, I could be wrong, in, like, the opening scene when she's leaving and she's going through the room to, like, do the security thing, there's 3 suits.
Okay. Are there?
I thought so. I might be making this up. I don't remember, but I thought that there were 3 suits.
Like 3 stands?
Yeah, I thought that there were 3 stands.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I could, like I said, I could be totally making this up. I don't know. I could be gaslighting you.
The subtitle of this episode is "Believe Women," so I'm gonna trust you. There were 3 suits.
That's funny. But like, so the attic scene was fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was like super fucked up because he just like laid things out for her to find, and then there's like additional to that. There's like some of her clothes that are up there. So like there's additional stuff that she didn't even really focus on because she had like, what was it, the phone that was up there,
a knife,
the knife that was up there that she had in the kitchen,
portfolio that he stole.
Yes. Oh my god, the portfolio that he stole. Yeah, like it was crazy. So then the fucking paint thing was like to me one of the coolest things in the movie was like just making him appear. Like that's the craziest thing because we don't know necessarily where she is, but she knows where he is almost all the time. So she just blindly throws that paint at him and it fucking drenches him and then also ruins her friend's house.
That he's redoing.
That's the thing about those relationships though, like the abusers, as much as they're like learning everything and controlling you, the person being abused is learning all of their routines as well. So like in that way, like she is the only person who can take him down because she's the only person who knows him that deeply.
Yeah. Knows
and you're almost expecting him to be in the attic with her.
Yeah.
Which at that point I was
just like voyeuring. You know?
At that point I still didn't know it was a suit. So I thought he was like crawling naked across like fiberglass insulation and I was just like squirming in my seat thinking about that.
Oh god.
It's too itchy. But then I said, oh, it's
like,
a suit.
I didn't know if they were like trying to tease like a supernatural type of thing with this.
Like it's always been like a science thing, but it was like I drink a potion and I turn invisible.
I was bit by a radioactive invisible thing.
Okay, Miles Morales can turn invisible, but that's a different thing.
That's funny.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I didn't know if they were gonna go like, he's
which
a
route
ghost
it was gonna
now.
be.
Right, if they went tech.
Because now I'm thinking like Dark Universe. We had the Mummy.
Well, that's what they were thinking too. Yeah.
I have to imagine that if this were to be connected to what they wanted to be the Dark Universe to be, this would have been a much more faithful adaptation to the original film from the 30s, rather than this reimagining and this update, if you will, of what this Invisible Man meant. Because it was supposed to be Johnny Depp.
Right.
And
which would have...
the guy that winds up playing the
that.
Invisible Man here is the guy from Hill House.
Yeah.
On Netflix, who is who's physically on screen for I think 3 minutes.
Probably.
But he actually, the actor actually was on set with Elizabeth Moss way more than they even needed him to be.
Oh.
Because he wanted to give her something to play off of.
So is he the guy in the suit?
Yes, he's in the green suit for a lot of the movie.
Okay, that's cool.
And then they shot the toss over the kitchen table scene. I think they said 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
Her on wires, him in the green suit. Then stunt people in green suits helping her get over, like.
Then her in the green suit.
and then they just overlaid each.
This
thing
one's for
to make
fun.
it.
Okay.
Right. Now let's put him over the table. But so they did that a bunch of times to try to get like the most accurate, I guess, depiction of an invisible person tossing someone across the kitchen table.
That's really fun.
And I thought it was really effective. That entire sequence
Yeah.
of that first like house fight or whatever you'd want to call it was fucking awesome. When he lit the kitchen on fire and made her just look like she was crazy and not paying attention to shit.
Well, that scene also made me question, as like, you know, like a nerd thought. Do you think this is like a military suit? Do you think it has enhancements? Because he really gets her. Like he picked her up with one hand at one point because he's holding the knife and her neck.
Yeah.
And she's off the ground, and then he like chucked her across that table. Which like was
I
that
think-
just to be like a violent scene, or is that suggesting some other attributes to this suit? Does that matter?
I think she's just so small.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Okay.
Like he's like a bigger dude, and I think he's like 6 something. So like he might
Yeah.
just be.
He also took
But
a
he's not
couple shots
huge.
before he went down, and he got stabbed a bunch.
He did get
He
stabbed
did get
a bunch.
stabbed.
But maybe the suit was kind of protecting somewhat
Yeah.
Could.
stabbing.
Well, that's what I want to know is like, so if it is militarized, say like, is
That's
that
the only
why?
application
I
I
don't
could
think the
see
suit's
that he would
powered
sell
in
it
any-
for.
I don't think that
Right.
the suit is super powered in any way.
Okay.
I think it's just reflective because he's a
Op-
world leader in optics,
Yeah.
Which is nothing.
which, you know, the optics
Eyeballs.
were bad for being an abuser.
So he's a glorified eye doctor.
That's when you say optics, I thought optical, and that's
The optical section at Walmart, you know.
right. I think maybe they meant like fiber optics or something, which would have made, I think, a little bit more
Yeah.
sense. But I guess optics just meaning like he does things with vision or something. I have no fucking idea what that
Yeah.
Optics is like,
or like illusions.
I feel like optics is like a sci-fi thing for like eye tech,
Yeah.
visibility
Yeah, like-
tech.
Like, because there's like
Retro
that suit
reflection.
is like an optical illusion.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it tricks them, or like things that trick the mind. I don't know why I'm getting close with the pencil into my eye, but
The suit is just one of those things that like you have to like make the sailboat appear.
yeah. If you stare at
he's on the
this-
couch.
if
He's
you
not
stare
there.
at
He's
it
on the
long
couch.
enough, it'll move.
He was intimidating
He
Yeah.
was.
for the 3 minutes that he was on screen.
Which you think
at
proves
dinner.
how much power like he has. Again,
Yeah.
you see his face for like 3 minutes, and you're like,
It was a nice touch that like even till like halfway through that last scene you don't get a clear look at him. Like
Yeah.
first you see him in the bed, and then like when she gets to the house he's so far away you can't really make him out, and then they finally punch in for the close up and you finally get to see the Invisible Man.
Right.
But like, and you're right, like he's just such a foreboding person, and I'm sure he's a wonderful person, but like I think all the tweets about this have just been like, he is the epitome of a toxic man, and that's why he keeps getting these parts.
I listened to an interview with him because I wanted to hear what he actually sounds like,
Yeah.
because it's like he's had a different voice for everything that I've seen him in so far, because I just finished watching Bly Manor, and he sounds very sweet. He almost sounds like Tom Hiddleston. Like, he's a nice English man.
Yeah. That's funny. He did, and like, so the final scene with her and him and the dinner, like, I feel like he's intentionally being very careful with every word that he says.
As gaslighters too.
Yeah, like,
Yep.
he's choosing everything specifically. And then when she finally fucking decides to, because I feel like she wasn't necessarily going to do it.
Yeah.
She was waiting for him to.
Give her a reason.
I think it was maybe, I don't know if it was plan A or plan B. I keep going back and forth.
She went there with the express purpose that I will fucking kill him if he brings it up.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna. If he lies to me, I'm going to kill him. I think that was the decision that she wanted to make, and I think that's why she was so insistent on getting the truth from him, and she didn't believe him. But when he got super close to her and he said, "Surprise," that's when she knew she was absolutely going to fucking murder him.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing that he said while he was invisible earlier on in the film, and apparently they reshot that. Just that, so they had to all fly to fucking wherever that was filmed, just so they could get that scene again, because the director wanted another shot at that line. Because I think he might have wanted to make sure that they were almost identical in the way that he enunciated and said it, and just wanted to, rather than just using the overdub or whatever, he wanted to make sure that it sounded exactly like it was from earlier in the film.
Yeah, I think part of her motivation was also just, if she can get it on record, she can prove to everybody, like, she already knows, like, she's saying, like, I just want to know I'm not crazy, but it's really like, I want everyone to know I'm not crazy. And, like, she already has people on her side when, like, it's revealed that the suits exist. But, like, to let him, even in death, to be remembered as, you know, a victim in all of this is tragic in its own way, but it's still some sort of justice.
Do you know what I wanted to know?
What?
I highly doubt he got around to changing his will between his fake death and his real death.
Oh yeah, does she get the money back?
Because if she's not convicted of a crime, or, you know...
And that was the thing, too. They said, and they definitely weren't going to get this deep into it, but, like, arrested for something on the suspicion of a crime and convicted of a crime are very different things.
Yeah.
That, to me, is he had this planned out from the start.
Exactly.
Like, he knew he was going to frame her for this and take everything from her.
Right.
So.
And, like, because for him to have the will, it's like, oh, you think you're going to get this, and then it's like, it kind of just, it just set everything up so nicely, and then, you know, it just becomes this, like, this tool.
Yeah. And he had things in motion before she found out that there was a will.
Right. Exactly.
So she had already fallen into the setup for, like, 3 different things to happen. Then she finds out about the will, and then he just chops those things all down one at a time to really spiral her out of control, which is why I love the fucking structure of this movie so much.
I know.
Yeah. Me too. And I love the friggin' direction. The camera work and, like, the cinematography were great because they like made you feel things by shooting a hallway.
Yeah.
Like,
they had some crazy rigs. When you go up to, like, the corner of the room just to get everything, but you still can't see it.
Yeah.
Like the dining room thing, right? Is that what you mean? The dining room kitchen thing where the camera's, like, in that weird... It did, like, a swoop and then pulled back into the corner.
Yeah.
So the room looked... I don't even know how to describe it. Like, you got the entire room, but in that one shot from up in the other corner. Like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the panning... And then you would think that it would, like, stop, and then it continues a little bit to let one more character out of the room, you know? Or, like, that one long take where they, like, kind of come out of a room and they just stare at a hallway that's empty for it seemed like a really long time, and then panned into the other room. We were just watching him walk through everything.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's just... The suggestion that they used really fucking helped with the tension, because, like, now you feel like, even though you cannot see where he is, you feel like you know exactly where he is in the room at that point.
Right.
Or when she's in the questioning room at the asylum or the police station or whatever, and he's just like, he's clearly in the corner.
Yeah. Yep. They, like, block the shots with just, like you said, just enough negative space to suggest something should be there.
Yeah.
Or, like, there was the one shot of her in the doorway.
Yeah.
But it was like there was way too much headroom for just her, and she was knocked out of center slightly. So you're just like, he's in the doorway.
He's directly behind her.
Right. You're like, he's in the fucking doorway.
Just like you guys saying, like, the power of suggestion and, like, insinuating that, like, he's watching you. He's in the room next to you, and just, like, pushing the right buttons on her and watching her slowly unravel was really, really fun, but in a this sick, disgusting way.
Yeah.
Like when
Fun
she
because it was fiction.
when she was at that job interview
Oh,
with her drawings, and she goes to pull them out. I was
Girl,
so
always double check
uncomfortable.
before you go. Like triple check.
but you don't even know when he pulled them out.
He could have
She
been in the
like-
trunk.
Yeah, like she could have been holding them
I know.
like super haphazardly, and he could have just been like standing around the corner like, yeah,
Floating paper.
right. But she's not gonna notice. She's like, I got this fucking interview.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
That was
gut wrenching.
heartbreaking.
And then what? She passed out, right? She-
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
because
he
stupid
drugged her.
diazepam.
That's right. That's right.
He drugged her.
Which was helpful because when she pulled out the bottle, I was just like, I don't know what diazepam does.
I believe it puts you to sleep.
I guess.
Drowsy.
But you can still sprint through the woods on it, I guess. But he didn't finish it.
That's when you've passed out from it and then awoken from it.
That's what they call the diazepam runner's high.
Right. Yeah. you become a world-class wind sprinter once you wake up after being knocked out from it.
Yeah. So, do we think Universal's doing more of these like MonsterVerse movies? Like, I know they committed to like anything they do, it's not like connecting anymore because The Mummy was bad. But like, are we getting?
But The
like...
Mummy fucking wasn't bad, and I'll die on that hill anyway.
Okay, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
I haven't seen it.
I'm telling you, it was good. It was a good fucking movie. They could have definitely built off of it anyway.
I think these are cool movies, and like, basically just because Universal owns the rights, it's a cheap movie that they can make. But like, I do think they are classic characters that I think they all have merit to be translated into the modern. Like, one is like,
I would, dude. They're so like, I would love to see all of them done in this style. Like, as much as I personally liked The Mummy from 2017, I would absolutely sign up for all of those big ticket Universal monsters being pulled into this kind of scenario.
right, like a small budget indie movie.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein. Like, I would fucking kill for all of those.
Yeah.
I do think that it's entirely possible that they take this third suit and we come back for a sequel. And it might not be the same characters, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, she left with a suit.
Right. Like
Like,
that
she took
implies
one.
like a future, but like I guess I'm just like so over encumbered by like
Sequels?
I'll get
Franchises?
like sequels, franchises, all of it, yeah. And like that's even why like Universal like rolled back. They wanted to like recreate Marvel's success, but then they were like, this isn't gonna work in 2017.
They absolutely could. They're cowards.
But like,
Sorry.
I feel like coming back to it would kind of ruin that satisfied feeling I had at the end.
Yeah, because in a possible sequel that involves Elizabeth Moss specifically.
Yeah.
Right. So not in one that is like separated from this like Son of the Mask or whatever the fuck.
Son of the
What
Invisible
a random
Man.
pull.
My invisible baby.
So like what is she using the suit for? Like, why would, like, I felt like she took it at the end of this to make sure that the evidence was with her.
Yeah.
And that way there was no, he kills himself and that's it.
Yeah.
But if they were to do a sequel with Elizabeth Moss, she's using the suit that she walked out of the house with, like, to what end?
Right.
You know, does she have like a bully from high school that she needs to exact revenge upon, and she becomes like this evil monster now? Like, is that what the, you know what I mean? Like, what reason would she have to use the suit? Because he's using the suit to terrorize her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would she be using the suit for if she's the good person that escaped this?
I guess the only thing I could really like think of is if she wasn't the one using it, but then like gave it to her like cop friend. But even then, it's like I wouldn't watch that.
Yeah. No.
Right. 'Cause it
Like
would
that's
just be
not
like,
interesting.
why? and he's like using it to solve crimes and shit.
Yeah,
that's
we're so far beyond what the point of this movie was.
Right.
And like, to be honest, like, I'm so over movies that are set up to be made into sequels or to have follow-ups or to have like a whole series. It's like, just give me a standalone movie like that I can watch and be satisfied. And like, I really hope that's what they do. Like, they keep that satisfying, like, you know, it's like not everything needs to be serialized.
Yeah. Be like Midsummer 2, you know.
I might watch that out of curiosity, but
camp is open.
Oh,
you know.
Jeez. Okay. Any final thoughts on The Invisible Man?
Oh, I thought we were just getting started.
Well, if there's more you want to say, Joe, absolutely. Let's dig into it.
Especially like knowing in the aftermath, like all that this movie went through with Universal. Like, I think like the first like iteration of it was in 2006. They started talking about it, and then it all just completely got redone after The Mummy. Whether or not it was good, nobody went to see it, and that led to this. But like knowing that whole story, that we ended up with such a like artistic and like eloquent film, I think I really appreciate that in 2020, like one of the worst years ever. And like even like the fact that like this movie came out and then because of the pandemic within 4 weeks they released it on digital.
Yep.
But I think it's I think it's getting a lot more attention now that it's like publicly available, well, to HBO subscribers. But like, yeah, I wish that I had seen this earlier.
Yeah, same. I feel the same way. I would have definitely seen this in theaters had I known it wasn't just being given away for free in the trailer.
Get on my level.
I know, right?
It's never...
Loved the direction of the film. And Elizabeth Moss was fantastic. Also believe women, so I don't know.
Believe women.
I cede my time. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it was definitely worth the $5 Tuesday ticket price that I did not personally pay for.
Wow.
Somebody bought my ticket, so it was definitely worth free.
I thought she was going to say she stood at the exit doors and slipped into the theater and then went and saw it for free.
That's kind of the spirit of the movie, though.
But no, I really liked it. I hope, like, I'm not super familiar with like when you guys were talking about like the Dark Universe. I've seen Creature from like the Black Lagoon. Like, I've seen those types of things. Didn't realize that was what it was called. But I would definitely watch more movies like this. I would pay to go see them. And like, I want to watch more things that like Elizabeth Moss is in. Like, I've seen her in Mad Men. I've seen her in Handmaid's Tale, and like I've seen her in this, and I was trying to think what else I've seen her in. I love her acting. I think she's one of my favorite actors because she seems real. Like I get into her characters. I would watch this movie again. Like we were talking about, I would buy it. I'm really glad that I got to share my thoughts about the movie with you guys today and represent the entirety of women everywhere.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I definitely want to watch it again. I would definitely put it in like my October spooky movie rotation kind of deal. I am sad I didn't see it in the theater, but ultimately being able to watch it regardless, I'm satisfied with. You guys all said Elizabeth Moss was awesome. She was fucking the star of the movie. If she wasn't the main actress in this, it would not have been as good. Even if they did everything exactly the same. Just anybody else you put in that role, I don't know that they pull you in the way that she does. So she was fucking phenomenal. The direction was great. I don't know. We don't grade movies here. A+, 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5? Like, what would be the?
We're gonna go with the Roman numeral scale, so we'll go with a V.
Guys, the stars are right there. They're just invisible.
See the stars at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you click on them.
Like, subscribe.
I'll give it 4 Pizza Hut Readers Club stickers.
So this was our Invisible Man discussion. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. Make sure you are subscribed on our YouTube and that notification bell is turned on, because algorithms and YouTube, and do people even watch things on YouTube? I don't know. Anyway, we're also available on all of your favorite audio devices and podcast streaming platforms as well. You can find us on social medias as well.
You can go on Instagram, you can go on Facebook, you can go on Twitter, whichever you prefer, really. Whichever platform is your forte. Some people don't like them and whatever, but you can find us on all of them. At Pop Kannon with a K.
Don't forget the K, because it's special, and we're all special. You can find us individually. I, Jordan, can be found on Twitter and Instagram at JL24FPS.
I am Robert, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Yesball.
I'm Sarah, and you can find me on Instagram and sometimes at Twitter at Sarah Ann Dippity.
I'm Joe, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Joe for Broke.
So one more time, thank you for listening, and we will see you on the very next episode of Pop Kannon, so stay tuned.
See you again real soon.
All right, now let's all stand up and walk away from the cameras so that it'll just be lingering on the empty room.
We should have done the whole thing just like off camera.
Invisible.
And then just like set up pulleys to move things. Do we have to stand up?
Okay.
Don our invisible suits. I need my microphone. It's down here.
My mic's all the way up. Oh, okay. Well,